Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video we've got some Division 20 online gameplay in the Bantamweight division, and I'm going to be using Dominick Cruz. And Dominick Cruz on the last UFC was used more frequently. I'd say obviously he's had a bit of a downgrade this year. He's a 4-star fighter, so he's not one of the better fighters in the division statistically, but I really enjoyed using him, and in the matchup today we're going against Henry Cejudo, so I actually like this matchup. I think it works quite well for me. My opponent's a Division 19 level player, and when people use Henry Cejudo on this game, often or not, obviously they just want to grapple because that's Henry's strong point. So understandably, I was looking to see this fight on the ground relatively soon, and Dominick Cruz is very good on the ground, very good wrestler, very good boxing, decent kicking. One thing I was worried about was Henry Cejudo's leg kicks, which obviously in their fight in real life he implemented early on to stop the movement of Dominick Cruz, because that's one thing he's obviously really well known for. So I was hoping to use his movement on the game, be in and out of the boxing range and kickboxing range, maintain distance well to avoid him shooting for takedowns, but I was also looking to shoot some takedowns of my own, because as I say, Dominick Cruz got brilliant wrestling and it's more than good enough to control the opponent on the ground. So my opponent shoots for a takedown here in the first round and he gets it. And obviously first round's just a feeling out process. I want to see what my opponent does. I'm not too worried about what they do, if they get me on the ground, if they keep me there for the round. I'm just looking to pick up on little patterns, and as you can see here, I sway the jab and I end up on top, which is perfect. And right here I'm going to look to implement small punches, build up the damage, slowly work his body or his head health to drop it a bit, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm just looking to control my opponent now for the rest of the round, and if he gets back to the feet, that's fine. Where my opponent shot the takedown straight away when we started, he gave me the impression that my opponent maybe isn't too confident in his stand-up, or just doesn't want to stand up with Dominick Cruz. So I now know this going into the later rounds, that if I keep it on the feet I might have some good success. So here I work my way to side control, denied the transition from my opponent, and I'm just, like I said, I'm just looking to do small damage and build up my ground control time so it looks better for the judges. And here I could threaten the guillotine. I was just looking at what chokes he had, so later on in the fight when I get my opponent in a simpler position I know what to do. I believe I faked going for the guillotine there, but my opponent denied the fake and then I denied him getting up. And I'm just working the body here, faking going to the right and to the left. Again, just working the body to try to drain my opponent's stamina. I'm trying to fake going to the left or right. My opponent's doing a good job of denying, and my opponent was fairly content just standing there. So we get stood up now, and now that the fight's on the feet, I'm looking to capitalise. I'm looking to see what my opponent's patterns are. I'm going to try to push the pace, and I'm just trying to measure how comfortable my opponent actually is on stand-up wise, because obviously he got the takedown very early on, and as you can see he's going for the clinch there, and I'm up against the cage where realistically I don't want to be, but I'm feeling fairly comfortable right now. My opponent is trying to put pressure on, but I'm not taking too much damage. I'm avoiding the clinch attempts, hit with a nice uppercut there, and that's round one over with. So round one, I'd say we can draw a lot of positives from that round. We know that he's going to look for the clinch and the takedown. Of course my opponent did get the takedown, but ended up with me having 2 minutes worth of control. And on the stand up, I'm fairly confident in the fact that I don't believe my opponent will do too much damage, just based off the style that he implements striking. I mean, he's pressuring a lot, he has to, because obviously he's Cejudo, and being the smaller fighter, he's going to have to push the pace, he's going to have to work to get in. And I hit him with a beautiful head kick there, which get the stun, and I'm remaining calm. I'm not pushing the pace too much. I know that it's just a stun, and if I'm getting one I'll get more in the later rounds, so I didn't push for the finish too aggressively. I let my opponent recover, and my opponent clinches me and works me towards the fence, which is always a good thing to do if you're looking for a takedown. My opponent's starting to throw these kicks now out of range. He manages to catch my roundhouse kick to the body and looks for the takedown, which I deny. And now I'm feeling fairly confident. I'm just trying to see if I can hit my opponent with big strikes. See, I'm moving my head a lot, as I know he's going for these clinch attempts, and also the combinations he's throwing are mostly straight, so you can just dodge them, go underneath them. And I'm looking really to get a takedown and dominate on the ground like I did the round before. I mean, the round before I had, I believe, 2 minutes or 2 minutes and a half worth of control time. So if I could replicate that this round, that would be ideal. I shoot for the takedown and managed to get it. And just because of the way I was fighting, I believe my opponent thought that I wouldn't be shooting for takedowns. Mainly maybe because he's Henry Cejudo and he wasn't expecting it, but I worked my opponent to the ground. And here I'm just going to try to do damage on the body and really tire him out and see what my opponent looks to do from here. And as you can see, my opponent again is fairly content in staying in this position as he was in the first round. I transition to here, and then my opponent tries to get up, which he does so. And then I push my opponent back down, and my opponent gets up again. I often have difficulty denying that transition of getting up. So I take my opponent's back. He manages to get the deny here, which was good from him. I then deny him and just start landing a couple punches. And really here I'm just looking to do a small amount of damage and get some control. We're back in this position here. My opponent gets up, which again I don't deny. Like I said, I struggle denying that. My opponent almost denies that, but I get my opponent on the ground for a trip again. And as you can see, I'm like a backpack. I'm being really dominant here. I'm not letting my opponent get out of my clutches. I'm really pushing the grappling exchanges. And that's what you want to do with Dominick Cruz. It doesn't matter who it's against, Henry Cejudo, who's probably the best grappler in this weight class. It could be against Aljamain Sterling. You want to push the grappling because Cruz's grappling is so good. And there's not much left on this round now. Round's over, so there's another good round in the books. Probably 2 rounds to me comfortably, I'd say. And with the success I had grappling there, I felt fairly confident going into this next round that I can maybe work a submission. So if I'm not getting the finish on the feet, which I still believe I could do, but if I'm not getting the finish on the feet, I could push for a submission finish. So that's what I was interested in doing this round. I wanted to see if I could get myself into a position to maybe execute an armbar or a rear naked choke, because I kept taking the back. But I wasn't going to force it if it wasn't there. I just want to see how my opponent deals with this round. Obviously I could imagine he's frustrated, being grappled for majority of the fight, and even when I weren't shooting for takedowns, I was constantly taking his back and stuff like that, and I can understand that he may be frustrated. Shoot for a takedown here, turning one, and he denies it and actually takes me down, which was a beautiful job from my opponent there. And now he's in a good position here in side saddle, which I then push over to side control. And here I'm remaining calm. I just want to get my opponent to half guard, and then from half guard to full guard, because I feel a lot more comfortable in full guard. And Dominick Cruz has great submissions, so it's something I wanted to test out. And a lot of people, when use Dominick Cruz, they don't really expect a submission threat, and obviously I haven't gone for a submission in this fight as of yet. And I'm looking to deny a transition and then see if my GA is in a good position. I'm going to go for the submission. And my favourite submission in this game is the Kimura from side control, which I chain to an armbar or the armbar. And here we go for the armbar. And my opponent initially starts doing a good job. I believe he's looking for the slam option to get out, and whenever that happens I normally stop moving. I hit it before him, so now he can no longer slam, and it's looking more and more likely that I'm going to submit my opponent. And I do manage to pull off the submission. So this was a Dominick Cruz online gameplay. Please like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.